I'm so glad you've joined me today, and together we're going to paint something with an autumn theme, as it's that time of year again. Back to school, all the family birthdays, falling leaves and blustery days combine to create a memory tapestry that's always bittersweet. So let's dig out all our autumn-coloured paints and a nice big brush and create an easygoing fall painting together. Let's get started. Hi everyone, so glad you're here, and today we're going to paint something with an autumn theme. And what better thing is there to paint with an autumn theme than leaves, turning leaves. So I have a couple of starters that I've done here just to try out a technique, and so they're going to be my inspiration for today. Not much point in looking online for inspiration these days, is there? Because you won't find very much since everything has now been completely taken over by AI, just as we thought it would. So let's get started. I've got my, as you could see, my Meeden watercolor paper here, and I'm going to use a grey watercolor pencil to do some lines, to give me some guidelines for what I'm going to paint. And so I think I'm not going to bother putting stems in first of all, because what I'll do is I'll join up the leaves after I've painted them. And I'm not necessarily going to follow exactly where I do my lines. So I'm just thinking again about watercolor pencil. I think I will forget that idea, not a good one. And we'll go with just a regular pencil, because if I don't follow my lines exactly, which of course I hardly ever do, I could end up with some unerasable, I'm looking for the right type of pencil here. I could end up with some unerasable lines because watercolor, oh, that's a 7B. Have you ever heard of that? And what's that like? If I use it very lightly, that'll be okay. You see my little elephant on here? I'm going to be drawing that elephant in one of our little, I don't know if you can see it, but I can't move my palette. There we are, there he is, little elephant. In one of my doodles in a day or two, he'll be coming up. So let's get started. It stopped raining, so quickly seize the moment. So we're going to do a pattern of leaves. They're going to be all more or less the same kind of shape, because I don't want to have to think about anything complicated today, as I'm sure you don't want to either. So we're just going to do pointed ovals and do them in all sorts of different directions, different sizes. Oh, that's not clever. You see, there you go. As soon as you get started, you make a mistake. Don't want these two parallel. Doesn't look much when they're just pencil, but if you don't rub that out and start again with that particular one, that should be, for example, be careful not to make it parallel to these two. It's actually really very tricky. It's very easily done. There's a name for that piece of coincidental joining together of a design by parallel lines, and we don't want to do that. So I'm just coming all the way down here. I expect that some of the leaves are going to be different shapes to one another, but we'll just keep on painting down, drawing down to the bottom. And I can imagine that that could be, they could be joined together with stems, probably. Don't know where my pencil was going there. It's been raining a lot today. This is just fun. It doesn't have any particular meaning, it doesn't have any symbolism, but it is getting towards autumn. And as I said in my little introduction, autumn to me, back to school, falling leaves, lots of birthdays. My birthday is the 22nd, my son's is the 21st, my first husband's was the 12th, my niece is the 9th. Yeah, so quite a lot of us. And oh yeah, my uncle-in-law, he was the 14th or something as well. There's loads of us in the family. Okay, so what I'm going to do these, I'm going to start off at the top, and I'm just going to wet a leaf I'm using a size 4 Meeden quill brush here. And some of them, what I'm going to do, for some of them, I'm going to drop in some of this I think this is buff titanium. It's either buff titanium or else it could be jaune brilliant from Holbein. Buff titanium comes from Daniel Smith. So into that, I'm going to drop some quinacridone gold. And I mean drop. I'm going to put drops in. So not brush it out, but just put in drops. And I know you're not going to be convinced. But anyway, so in the next one, I'm going to use whatever's on my brush to make it wet. And then I'll pick up some, let's say, burnt sienna. And I'll drop that in a couple of places. And we'll leave that to run. And I'm going to rinse that brush out. I'm going to go up here and put some water. And then I'm going to put in some green gold. This is Michael Harding, plus a little bit of Perylene green. And we'll let that run too. Then I'll go to the next one, put those two colours that I've just used in there, and just leave that like that, because I like it. It's okay like that. Maybe we'll just put a tiny bit of darker green down there. And then I'm going to pick up some yellow. And then we'll put some blue, I think. How about some indigo? And then I'm trying out all my different techniques for wetting wet. So I'm just going to add water now and let that run. Okay, and then I don't know what's on my brush. There's some more yellow. I'm just going to open the door because it's suddenly the sun has come out. A minute ago it was pouring. Now all of a sudden I feel boiling. And so I'm going to, I think we'll do another one with the buff titanium or whatever colour that is. I'll look it up afterwards and I'll put the information in the description below. And I'm going to put some indigo blue into that one. Oh, look how that runs. Not going to even touch that. And now I've got enough leaves here already running, and I want to put some stems in. So I'm going to pick up some raw umber, some dark brown, and I'm just going to touch the leaves together, some of them, the ones that are running. I just want to do that one down there too. I don't know where this one's going to connect, so I think I'll just better take that up there. And this one, I'm going to pretend that he comes over here, I think. Okay, and now since I've got that brownish colour on there, I'm going to use that for the next one. Very little planning going into this. Just painting and playing with my colours. Wet that. Oh, look at that. Where did that come from? I'm going to have another rant if I'm not careful, because I was very upset this morning when I went to look online, trying just to get some ideas for what to do. Where do you get ideas from these days? I know I've talked about this an awful lot. There is so much AI on the search engines now. You cannot find anything genuine. It's a hopeless case. So I'm going to do this one. So you have to resort to your own imagination, and as I have said many times before, I don't have much. going to get some indigo here. I don't have much imagination, so you're going to see a lot of leaves coming coming from me in the near future. Now what should we put? I think I might put a little bit of brown on there. Now we don't want to have too much variety in colour, so don't want to use every colour that's in our palette. And as you notice, this is all come from very few. It's quinacridone gold, burnt sienna, that's what those two are, indigo, raw umber, and this, which I think it might be jaune brilliant. And just that, this is what we're getting by mixing just those few colours. Oh, and a little bit of green gold, which is nice because it's really vibrant. Michael Harding, but he's not the only person who does that colour. And we'll just attach our stem now. We know where we're going. A little bit. Now I'm going to scratch in some veins now. Probably should have started this a bit earlier. And some of them will show up nicely, like these ones. This is just a bamboo knife. Some of them will show up nicely and some of them won't. But we'll see how it goes as we go along. Sometimes if it's at a certain stage, you get a white line. Sometimes they come out darker. Yeah, it's a little bit light there. See that? It's a little bit light there. It's nice to have variety. You never know quite. I know it depends on how much it's dried. I'm just looking at this one here and thinking this needs to have a connection so he can run a bit. Let me see, thinking about the balance. Perhaps we need a little bit more light down the bottom here. How about some sap green, but light? I've brought in another colour. And we'll put into that some yellow, gold, quinacridone gold. And then I'm going to use what's on my brush for this one. Put a little bit of dark. What's that called? That is perylene green. And I'm going to scratch in my veins straight away here. And we'll pick up some raw umber and come down to this one. Okay. How about indigo? No, I'll tell you what. Yeah, indigo. Right, let's put some indigo here. And some green. And then, oh, look at that. A bit more of that blue colour in there. And then, sorry, the dark brown. Okie dokie. And now the second half. Need to wet that again, don't I? We'll put some more green up here, shall we? Perylene perhaps up the top. I think that was perylene green and green gold, and isn't that nice? I can't remember now which ones I dropped more water into, but we'll try putting some water into that one. Yes, autumn is the time for mushrooms and moles. We've got a very active mole in our back garden and a fairly active one in the studio garden. And every morning when you get up, you come downstairs and you look and it's like another gigantic pile of lovely, beautiful dark brown earth. It makes you think, oh gosh, we've got quite good soil under there. You wouldn't know it though, until the moles have done their job. And mushrooms everywhere, but I don't eat them. I think they don't agree with me. So back to our raw umber again, and we'll put in a stem, perhaps coming down. This colour, the buff, whatever it is, could go in there, and a bit of gold, quinacridone gold. And perhaps we'll put the same two over here. This is quite fun, actually. I think you should give it a try. I would if I were you. I really honestly didn't know what to do today. It's sometimes really difficult. And I toss ideas around and lie awake at night trying to decide what to do. Maybe I might make a plan and then I come to the studio and I do something completely different. And I'm not sure how I'm going to finish this off yet. Whether I'm just going to leave it as it is. Or whether I'm going to embellish it in some way. Could go either way. Let's have a bit of blue. Oh, that still had some. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? That's that blue-grey indigo type colour mixed with the green gold, I think. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I think I should do another one of those before I lose it. Okay. Wow. I think we need a bit more of the quinacridone. Definitely one of my favourite colours, quinacridone gold. I'm going to ignore that shape there, I think. I think I might come up from here and just do something completely freehand. I could have done the whole thing freehand, really, without any prior lines. It would have been lighter then, not lighter, freer. But that's okay. It is fairly free, but this is a lovely brush for doing things like this. Let's put my stem in. And I'm looking at it now and thinking, we've got quite a bit of orange. There's a lot of green here. What am I going to put here? I think maybe we need a nice blue. The last bluey grey one I didn't turn out very blue. So we want another yellowy one. I think I'm going to start with yellow and burnt sienna. How about that? And burnt sienna. A bit of quinacridone gold. Better put some more veins in. And whoops. Let me see, what shall I put over here in this corner? Well, I think I'll put another yellow one as a base. And I'm going to put some green gold into that one. And some quinacridone gold. And let that blend. And then, well, I can't help it. I'm going to go for my favourite green gold here. But on top of it, we'll put some blue, so it contrasts with this one. And the raw umber. We can go back if we want and reinforce some of the brown leaves if you want them a bit stronger. But you don't have to do that. Maybe we want a few more veins going off to the sides. This one's good, isn't it? Okay, now we need to let that dry, really. It's quite wet. And then we'll see what we want to do next, whether we want to make some kind of embellishments. Maybe some of them are dry enough. Maybe that one is dry enough for me to consider picking up a bit of darker colour. Oops, to be careful. Turn it round. I think we might do that on a few of the lighter ones, perhaps. But that one's still very wet, so I think it's probably better to wait. What we could still do, since they are wet, we could drop more water in and get some more texture on the leaves. But I think probably what I'm going to do is basically leave it alone, let it dry, and come back and finish it. I'll probably finish it tomorrow once it's completely dry, because it's getting a bit late tonight. 5:30, time to go and cook the dinner. So I'll leave that for now, and we'll see how we feel about it in the morning. I can see that already I need probably some more stems and things to tie the whole thing together. So I'll see you shortly to do that. So here's the completely dry painting, which I've done nothing to except to erase all the pencil lines that I had used to get the whole thing set up. Just used an ordinary eraser there. Luckily, all of them came out from underneath one layer of paint, which was good. It doesn't always work out like that. I did think about maybe adding a little bit more detail, but I decided in the end not to, because I think that would make a completely different painting, and I quite like this one the way it turned out, actually. But I'm going to have another go at something very similar where I'm going to be adding a lot more embellishment. So watch out for that coming up soon, being as it is now autumn. Things are starting to come off the trees around here, except for the oaks, which are always very late. I just want to say also, while I'm winding up here, about the paints I used. They were Michael Harding, with the exception of this, which is Jaune Brilliant from Holbein. And I used 6 colours. I didn't use the purple, and I didn't use this green. I didn't use that red. So I had 6 colours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually, and a little bit of blue. So that is 6 plus this. With those 6 colours, you can make an almost infinite number of colours, and I actually did check mathematically. It turns out that 6 can combine in 3 different, if you combine up to 3, so either the single colour or with 2 or with 3, you're going to get 60 different colours as a result. So that's quite enough for any one painting, isn't it? So if you think of it like that, that's quite interesting, really, because that just goes to show, A, you don't have to have 365 different colours in order to be able to paint a varied, colourful picture. And 2, it's much easier to control if you've only got a few, because there's no making up your mind, really. You followed my process as I went through, and you will have seen me thinking as I went along, what do I need to add to this to balance it? And I think this is basically what's the truth. This is the real truth about colour mixing and design, is you have to limit yourself in order to expand yourself. Okay, so that's my theory anyway, for what it's worth. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it gives you some ideas for what to paint this autumn and how to go about doing it. And so I'll let you go now. I'll see you on Thursday. And meanwhile, don't forget, we've still got the daily Doodle Detox Challenge running. You can see my little doodles on the Shorts page, or whatever you call it, on YouTube every day. Haven't put it up today yet, but I will in a minute. It's been a busy day. And don't forget, Patreon is looking forward to you becoming a member, or if you don't fancy Patreon, become a member on YouTube, and you will get some extra perks, including exclusive videos and various other bits and pieces. So I'll say goodbye for now, everybody. Have a lovely remainder of the weekend. No, it's not the weekend. It's Tuesday. Have a lovely week. Keep well, keep happy, and paint a lot. And I'll see you again on Thursday. Bye for now, everyone. Bye-bye.